You're watching TelecomTV for Mobile World Congress 2018 in Barcelona. And I'm joined now by Jean-Pierre Bien-Aimé, who is Secretary General of the 5G Infrastructure Association. Jean-Pierre, good to speak to you on TelecomTV again. As I understand it, the first phase of projects of 5G IA, 5G PPP have come to completion now. Is that the case?
Yes, good afternoon, Guy, at this last day of the MWC 18, very busy. Indeed, 5G PPP is composed of three project phases. First one has nearly finished at the end of last year. Those 20 projects, more targeted on research. A second phase has already begun mid-2017 during the Oulu EU CNC conference last year, and will last until end of 19, more targeted on optimization. And we have here 5 demos of those projects presented at the Congress. And the third phase will be more targeted on pre-commercial and trials. The calls are ongoing from the European Commission still for some months, and it will begin at the end of this year until 2020.
Did the first phase throw up any surprises or unexpected conclusions?
No, I think, as research projects, they covered each some elements, various elements of 5G deployments, whether it be radio network, whether it be frontal backhaul, whether it be security, whether it be virtualization. So we made progress in each of those aspects of these networks. This time for the phase 2, these will be more accomplished use cases and introduction of verticals, for instance in the automotive industry, the smart cities, the media, the port authorities, the ports, harbors, and other types of verticals.
So 5G has the standardization of 5G is very tight. We want to get to commercial rollout fast. So will these phase 2 projects be completed before we start the first commercial introductions?
I think the 5G PP projects, definitely it's a continuity. And it's a consistency, they are consistent. So they must cover all the roadmap, the 5G development roadmap, without stopping too early, of course. It's a huge research effort at the European level, public-private, public from the European Commission, but 10 times more from the private industry. Of course, it has been led until its completion. But in the standardization process of 5G, you have several steps, and a first step has been accomplished late last December, but it's only the first step. The NSA new radio, the complete release 15 of this, let's say, EMBB capabilities will be finished at mid this year, end of June. But the release 16 remains still totally to be elaborated until N19. And it's in this next release that we will elaborate the massive IoT and critical ultra-low latency communications, with notably the use cases with IoT and the verticals.
Now, there's a lot of political pressure within Europe to not be late with 5G, to get at least some networks and services out in key cities and member states as quickly as possible. Is this maybe slightly unfair pressure, because it seems the industry is devoting all its resources to achieving the 2019 deadlines?
Yes, indeed, it's not a simple issue, but on the one hand, Guy, as I said, we have to respect this roadmap and go all the research and development roadmap that have to be done to have a full and true 5G services. But also we have to show that the roadmap is on time, that trials, demos, use cases, partial launches on certain type of services are done, as it will be the case, for instance, in the United States this year for fixed wireless access, or for the Korea Winter Olympics that have recently finished for enhanced mobile broadband and high-speed broadcast. Certainly, and Europe has to show that progress are being done with those trials and let's say interim results. But both have to be led in parallel.
Are you happy with the progress of trials we're seeing so far? Are we on time, and do we have sufficient wide support, not just from telecoms, but from associated industries?
I think indeed the timetable is tight and we have no time to lose. It's the reason why 2018 definitely will be the year where we put some pressure in the program on associating the verticals. Definitely the differentiation of Europe is to create a real 5G ecosystem with the industry, with the non-telecom actors, stakeholders. But it's a challenge, it's the interest, because we have to involve them in the developments, in the trials, and even in the standardization process. So it's a key milestone that has to be fulfilled, definitely.
And one of these key verticals I know you're focusing on is automotive, and you've just published a study on V2X.
Yes, it's a study on V2X business case with some scenarios. It's a first study of a series of white papers that will be delivered by our 5G PPP automotive work group. They are presenting there some demos and presentation, the lane merge, the vehicle, vulnerable vehicles warning and other ones. So they have also their roadmap. And concerning, as you say, associations, we intend to cooperate with the vertical associations, grouping those stakeholders of such or such industry. We have recently signed a cooperation agreement with the PST, the public safety in Europe, the public safety industry. Of course, we get closer from the 5G AA, 5G Automotive Association for automotive. In terms of satellite, we also are close to ESA. We will see also people of CESAR for drones. So we have, of course, to use the horizontal power of these associations to gain times in order not to contact on a case-by-case basis, but more on horizontal way.
So final question for you, what are your priorities for the year ahead? What can we expect to see more of from you this year?
So Guy, priorities, of course, it will be to go on this trials pan-European roadmap. Also pan-European, but also with international cooperation. With trials between EU and China, for instance, or between EU and Japan, other regions of the world. As you know, we have a strong international cooperation program with the 5 other countries and regions of the world, and soon we will add India to the landscape. So it's quite important. We organize 2 events, global 5G events a year with those regional associations, and it gives us, of course, a good purpose of alignment and also progress. Another aspect to be followed up is the spectrum. That is to say, the timely harmonization and availability of the first bands in the first step that will be used for 5G event trials. That is to say, the 700 megahertz and the 3.5 gigahertz. The situation will be unequal throughout Europe. So it's important, and the European Commission said that in this Congress, not to delay, and that the member states not delay the the process, the availability of this spectrum, and afterwards, after the WRC 19 that will take place in 1.5 years, the availability of the millimeter wave high frequencies for hotspot performance. So we have also to accompany that process to optimize.
Excellent. Well, plenty to look forward to. For now, Jean-Pierre, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you from our booth, 5G Infrastructure Association at MWC.